Hello and a very warm welcome to CNN News 18 presents Pearls of South, a special series where we celebrate businesses that have not just stood the test of time, but have done it with panache, collecting outstanding achievements in their respective journeys. One such remarkable business is Krishniah Chetty. Based out of Bengaluru, this heritage jewelry brand is a name that has been synonymous with excellence in the industry for more than 155 years. In the first episode of this two-part series, we will take you on a journey through the brand's rich history, uncovering its milestones, challenges, and the unwavering commitment to craftsmanship that has shaped its legacy. And also explore how Krishniah Chetty has evolved, maintained its heritage, and embraced modern innovations to continue being a trailblazer in the world of fine jewelry. In 1869, Kota Krishniah Chetty embarked on a journey, selling coloured beads on a bicycle in the British cantonment area in Bangalore. From these humble beginnings, he laid the foundation of a legacy. Later appointed as jewelers to the Mysore royal court, the designs of Krishniah Chetty Group seamlessly bridged Indian traditions and British elegance. Post-independence, the rich legacy has continued generation after generation, navigating challenges with unwavering dedication. With an enduring focus on quality, the group has ensured their heritage and craftsmanship continues to thrive through changing times. And today we are in conversation with two incredible leaders. Vinod Haigrave, the Managing Director, and Chaitanya V. Kota, the Executive Director at Krishniah Chetty. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What an honor to be part of this journey and taking it to a larger audience. Thank you so much for having us. 1869, my God, that is an incredible journey if one was to look at what India has gone through, what the jewelry industry has gone through, what people have gone through. And I think it is also part of a cherished history. How did the journey start? And was it the same as where we are today, or it started with something totally different and it evolved and transformed in the years?
If you put it in perspective, the last 1,200 years has been very interesting, and especially the Deccan, the Central and South India. Part of that is where we come in 1869. So it's 150 years. But what I can see is that the history and the heritage that came along in those 1,000+ years had been lost and became a lot more British,
Correct.
Especially in this part of India as well as in Bangalore. So I think we have a little bit of a gap there where the tradition and the culture which was there until mid-1800s got lost to some extent, and then it's come back now.
Right.
So therefore, in the history of Krishniah Chetty over the last 155 years, it's a very nice thing to see that we still have that old heritage of 1,000 years, but we kind of moved to a more British or a European part of history and design elements until the 1970s, or at least 1947 for sure. And thereafter, it became a fusion of styles. And today, we're going back into the future.
Everything is coming back, they say, and the first few decades must have been very interesting because this is 1869 we're talking about. You were dealing in beads. From there, the journey sort of moved to the influences of whoever the ruling community and the parties were, but with holding the legacy of the culture that we were born in. Can you recall what the first 50 years, so to say, were like?
The business started with colored beads.
Right.
Krishniah Chetty started selling colored beads on a bicycle. And then he established a business on the bylanes of Commercial Street, which is the street for shopping. Yeah. This part of Bangalore has been a cantonment. So there was not many people from the Peta, as we call it.
Right.
So they were not coming in here because this was army cantonment. So it was only limited to the British residents and Indians who migrated here. So Krishniah Chetty also migrated like that from the the outskirts of today's Bangalore to Commercial Street, where he felt that the British cantonment was very, very well planned. The street was for shopping. The rest of the area of 1,500 acres or so was actually army barracks. So it was a very restricted set of clients or potential, but he wanted to create something the style of the British. And that's how he came in here. And if you look at the products that we have made over the last 150 years, especially till 1947 and even till 1965, 70, until the privy purses were abolished for the royal families by the government of India, we have been appointed jewelers to the Maharaja of Mysore. And with that came over 21 different kingdoms that we became jewelers to. And these people directed our destiny.
How would you define the time after independence? What was the transition like?
Post 1947, there were two generations working. They did work very well together, a father and son. Both of them worked in such a way that they were like two hands of one person. One person was looking after the interest of the Maharajas and the royal families, the Nizams, the Nawabs of this area, the South Central and Deccan area. The other gentleman was a stickler for quality. He would manage the business. So the father was a person who would manage the intricacies of work. The son was the PRO, as we would say, for all of these royal families. Both of them passed away in the year 1956, 55, 56. There was a little setback because two important people passed away in 1 year. Then my father, Mr. Highgreave, and his younger brother, Mr. Narayan.
I believe they were only 14 and 18.
They were 14 and 18.
They were very young.
They were very young. They got pushed in. My father came into the business first, and 2 years later, my uncle, who's the younger brother, came in. They gave up their studies to look after the business.
And rest, they say, is history.
And the rest is history.
Chaitanya, we spoke about one father and son combination here. You bring the new blood into the business. When did you join? And what was it like growing up in this household where there was always a legacy talk happening about jewelry? Or what was it growing like?
So honestly, when I was a kid, maybe 5 years old or so, my dad would come home from work and he would give us something to play with. And these to me look like beads or something, right? They're all actually diamonds and rubies and emeralds. And ever since then, I think it was inculcated that we would be part of the business in some, so that was how we got introduced into the business. But growing up in this family, there was always a sense of stature that you had to live up to. And the shoes kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, whether it's his dad or now him. Of course, my granddad built something really fantastic. Now my dad has done something even more fantastic. So now I figured out where I got to go, right? So that's why we figured out a really systematic way of working together, and we work really well. Like he said earlier, he takes care of certain areas of the business where I don't really interfere, and I take care of certain parts of the business.
So there always is pride in legacy, then there is burden of legacy, but I see so much pride here. You are which generation now? Sixth generation. My question is, everything has always been rooted in heritage. Did you ever feel the pressure of singing to the market? Or was there a difficulty in balance because everything had to be part of a legacy that was given to you? How did you build upon that legacy?
So it's a simple philosophy of keeping our roots intact, still evolving with the times. Our oldest designer is 80 years old, 80, and our youngest is 24. So you're talking about getting their mindset into this, but still keeping the fresh blood and the thoughts coming in. This transition, or for example, we have in the museum that we have as the Krishniah Chetty Crystal Museum, is a place where we've displayed all of these beautiful styles of jewelry. This becomes a kind of an educational ground. So if somebody had to see, for example, a Chettinad necklace, which is more than 100 years old, now that workmanship and the story behind, if you had to delve into the design aspect, you will see how the Lord Shiva's story of the 5 fingers and the central part where the marrying couple comes together, and you wear them in 2 layers.
Yeah.
And the entire history of that piece itself will take me 20 minutes to talk about, but that has got a deep cultural significance. Now, when we keep looking at those and you create new products, you're looking to create new products with, again, a story into the culture of India.
Yeah.
That's one aspect. We also have the challenge of a contemporary generation growing up now. So they're looking for various different pieces. So we would create something very avant-garde. So we would use keeping the roots, which is our color, which is we are very strong in colors. We keep our roots in the beads, because Krishniah Chetty started his business selling colored beads.
Right.
So we keep that. We do all of that into a contemporary fashion. And I think, for example, what I'm holding now is a blend of this. It's a fusion. Now, this is the kind of thing that we would like to continue offering, and it's been quite well accepted.
Chetan, if I may get you in here, you are obviously keeping tab on what is happening in the world where we are right now. The contemporary tastes are changing, they are evolving, and newer stuff is coming in the market. Having said that, you work with a wide network of key stakeholders, collaborators, designers. How easy or difficult it is now to get them all together on the same table and say, this is the vision that we have and this is how we need to do it? Do you feel there is resistance? Do you feel there is a lot that is happening in that brainstorming room? What are your typical meetings looking like, the design meetings?
So honestly, it's evolved significantly. Initially, it was a very instruction-oriented kind of a role that we would do. Now it's a very collaborative, as you said. We do a lot of research. We spend a lot of time in just brainstorming, which earlier would not have been the case. So now we spend a lot of time on random ideas. So at one point, we actually have a room where we all go in, we stay there for half a day, and we come up with the most insane ideas.
Wow.
And we actually put down all the ideas on there, and the top 2 or 3 that can be executed is what will be picked, and we have to make sure it's completed by the end of the month. So that's what we've done. And we also look a lot internationally. I think internationally today, from whether it's Paris or anywhere in the world, fashion has been extremely ahead of its time. So we can use that, as he mentioned, using those factors in and connecting it with India. It's an amazing space to actually be in. So I think it's become a lot more easier and a lot more accepted within the company as well. And of course, he's been extremely open-minded.
Very interesting. We have to take a short break here. So it's time for a very short, brief break, but please don't go anywhere. We will return very soon, and a conversation with the leadership of heritage jewelry brand Krishniah Chetty with Vinod Hagriv and Chaitanya Vikota will be continued. We will dive into how the brand expanded its portfolio and ventured into new verticals. So stay tuned. Transitioning through the eras, the Krishniah Chetty Group has not only preserved its legacy, but also embraced technology, blending it with timeless artistry. From curating a museum that tells stories of tradition to venturing into fashion with ethical lab-grown diamonds, Krishniah Chetty Group continues to redefine beauty and affordability while staying rooted in its heritage. Welcome back to CNN News 18 presents Pearls of South, and I am in conversation with Vinod Hagriv, the Managing Director, and Chaitanya Vikota, the Executive Director at Krishniah Chetty, who are taking us deeper into the journey of this iconic brand, sharing insight into its evolution, milestone, and how they have navigated challenges while staying true to their heritage. My question to you, after having heard the history and the involvement and the commitment, is how easy or difficult is it to preserve this history for the world to see? We are sitting in a museum which has these beautiful pieces that tell a story. How important is that storytelling to you as a brand?
The museum is a showcase of a century and a half of design, as well as crafting.
The Crystal Museum Salon is an experiential luxury space celebrating our family and business of 155 years and Namma Bengaluru. The museum features over 300 private exhibits that showcases the rich legacy of C. Krishniah Chetty and grand history of South India. With interactive panels, virtual screen, audio tour, and a library of over 2,000 rare books on gems, jewelry, and history is a treasure trove for a connoisseur, artist, historian, and jewelry enthusiast. Silver Swami tea set, created by our founder Kotta Krishniah Chetty and his son Adi Narayana Chetty, this solid silver tea set is a remarkable example of our artistry. The fine artistry featuring intricate design that showcases Swami-style repose work. The design is inspired by Meenakshi Amman temple's religious procession that goes on, where it narrates the story of Lord Vishnu's descent on earth as Jagannatha. Each piece in the set is beautifully adorned by fine craftsmanship. This is such a masterpiece that, Britishers revered it so much, they carried it along with them when they left India. C. Krishniah Chetty repurchased it at a premium in an auction in London and brought it back to India. Let me talk about Ganda Berunda, the royal emblem. The royal emblem of Mysore then, and the state emblem of Karnataka today. As the appointed jewelers of Mysore Palace, we had the privilege of crafting scores of this Ganda Berunda medallion under Order of Ganda Berunda, the program that was instituted by His Highness Jaya Chamrajendra Wadiyar to honor the meritorious services of his subjects.
You have also forayed into fashion and accessories. A lot of brands like to keep to their forte. And here it is a whole new industry that you are getting into. I understand they are related, but what prompted you to explore this as not just an ancillary industry, but also a mainstream industry along with the marquee jewelry business that you already have?
To actually look at that logically, I think what happened was the natural progression of India is today a very young country. And I think that what we had to do is we had to figure out a new strategy for that. And that's why we came up with something called Crash Club. So Crash Club was born because the real reason was because I love rhinos. And these animals are going extinct. And I think I was 13 years old or so when he took me to Africa. And something about the rhinos just really attracted me to them. I'm not sure what, why, and how, because that's not a very normal animal to even like, right? And as time went on, I figured out that maybe I could try to help out in that region. So Crash Club, a group of rhinos, is called a crash. And club, because whoever is buying things from this collection would be part of the club. And so here we have a very lightweight silver jewelry, which is very impulse buy. All the way up to things in diamonds manufactured in the lab. And this actually helped us really ramp up our speed as well, because I think the fashion space is evolving a lot faster. Yeah. So from our online space to offline, all went really well and really quickly. And how that happened was actually initially internally we had a lot of resistance or questions. And my dad went on a holiday for 1 month. And that 1 month, I did the whole thing. Right, I had the counters ready, I had the teams ready, I had the stock ready, everything done.
How many months did he not speak to you after that?
No, bringing in something that's not part of the core of the last several decades was difficult. There's a phenomenal appetite for consuming
and variety. Yeah.
So today, I know how difficult it is for somebody to buy a 5 carat, 10 carat, 15 carat diamond, a natural diamond. Whereas in a lab grown, you can buy at 5, 10, 15 at a very small price. So you're going to make people more beautiful. Krishniah Chetty, we quite often ask, what business are we in? We are in the beauty business. We want to make people look nicer at a more affordable price. What's important in all of these is how ethically you represent each of the product. For example, if it is a ruby was synthesized in 1880, and the diamond synthesized first in 1955 by General Electric. Now, we are speaking about having a pure representation of the truth. And the consumer, when they know the truth, it's simple. It's our ethical philosophy to ensure all our documentation has all the details of the product clearly printed automatically. It is nothing to do with what we say. It is the system provides that everybody gets absolute transparency.
Before we end this episode, Chaitanya, I would like to know from you what excites you now about jewelry business and what excites you about the times to come, and what are you looking forward to with your bespoke edition, with your limited editions, keeping heritage intact, but what is the next year or next 4 or 5 years looking like to you?
So what excites me, honestly, is that fortunately right now we have a fantastic team now within CKC. And if you see what we're working on right now is really pushing the boundaries in material, in styles, and actually how it's going to be used. Right. The story part would come with our whole philosophy of CKC, but yeah, that's what would keep me alive, awake.
Wonderful. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 1 of CNN News 18 presents Pearls of South, where we have journeyed through the rich history and evolution of Sri Krishniah Chetty. But the story doesn't end here. In our next episode, we will dive into the brand's design evolution, exploring how Sri Krishniah Chetty continues to push boundaries with cutting-edge innovation while staying true to the heritage. We'll also take an in-depth look at their unique and stunning jewelry collection and their future vision for the brand. Until then, goodbye and keep watching CNN News 18.